Hi people, Martha N here from Create Right. Welcome back to my video. As promised in my last video, I was saying that I was going to show a few tricks that I use to help when I'm trying to create a character or I'm having a problem with a character, which I very much am at the minute. Now this could end up being a two-parter, so bear with me if it does. There's also some noise outside, so I'm sorry about that. I am struggling with a character at the moment that I'm writing in my book and having an awful lot of difficulty with her. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the tarot to just help me flesh out some ideas around the character. Now this is not my idea, this is something I actually came across before and on YouTube or something, so I can't credit it to whoever it was that did it. I've used it a couple of times. I mostly use like mind mapping for character development, but I have found that I'm getting better at actually using tarot for this. Now I know that some people find tarot very scary. I respect that if you do. I just don't happen to be one of those people. It works for me. I don't pull cards for anybody else. I've had tarot decks for years, about 20 years I'd say, but I just don't pull for anybody else. I really use them just to flesh out what's at the back of my mind, and I find that's the best way that they work for me. Now I will say that I have tried this before, this method of fleshing out a character before, and it has worked for me, but as I said, I'm getting better at it. Now if you know anything about tarot, you'll know that there are four suits, like there are in a deck of cards, but they are swords, coins or pentacles, wands and cups. And then you have your four court cards for each suit, which is the page, the knight, the queen and the king. And then you have your major arcana cards. You'd be familiar with them, you know, the dreaded death card is in that, and the devil card, and then there's the high priestess and the fool, and you know, so on and so forth. But you'll see what I mean as I go through. So what I picked was, I picked this to represent the character that I'm having difficulty with. It's the main character I'm having difficulty with. And she doesn't look like this in my mind, but it would represent her because she's a young woman, very emotional, has had a very difficult childhood, very difficult relationship with her mother who really overwhelms her in every way, and the story goes on from there. But I don't have a problem with any other character, only her for some reason, and it's really brought me to a halt. Now I am bordering on the idea that maybe this story is just a bit too big for me, that I don't exactly have the experience yet as a writer, and that might be the case. But if I get to my goal of a first draft by the end of the year and then have to put it aside, I'll be okay. So this is what I picked to represent her. So I'm now going to just pull a card and we'll maybe see what is there anything in her past, we'll say, that I could have missed. So I'm just going to pull a card. Oh, so this is the Four of Swords. So the sword suit is really about everything being up in the air. It's about logic. It's a really kind of a strong suit, but this one, as you can see, it's a girl and she's in bed. There are lots of fish circling around her head, and that would be indicative of the thoughts that are going on in our mind. They're overwhelming, they're frightening. We give a lot more weight to them than is necessary. So that's very apt actually for the character, because even though she has difficulty, she's allowing them to affect her now. So that's quite good. So we'll pick another one. Okay, and again we've swords. So this is the Eight of Swords. So you can see with this, it's quite a scary card. So she's very scared of everything that's around her. But you can't see anything that's around her. She can't see what's around her. So again, it's very much up in the air. it's fears that we're lending more weight to. Okay, so let's just see how that's affecting her now. Okay, so that's brilliant. Okay, so this again is swords. So you can see from this that she's magnified her fears. You have two little kids here. Their ties are huge. They're scared of them. So she has blown her situation out of all proportion, and she has basically become stagnant with them, and she's kind of got emotion overload. Let's go into, I'll go into like what could come from this. Okay, so this is the Six of Swords, again another swords card, and this is about getting away from it all after conflict, retreat for your own peace of mind. And I love this card actually. And actually in the story where I'm stuck, she has moved from her family. She's gone to an aunt whom she dearly loves, to a beautiful secluded place. So she has actually retreated. So this is where I'm stuck. So I need something to shake her up. I think I've maybe been a bit too precious with her, and she needs a little bit of a jolt in her life to move her forward. And I possibly haven't been doing that with her. So let's see. Okay, this is the Three of Wands. So this is a different suit, and the suit is about energy and inspiration. And I think what will inspire her, I always think of this character down here. There's a character of a fox, and I always think that this represents, I don't know why, but for me this represents somebody deceptive. And maybe there is another character that I didn't have much of a large role for, but I could introduce this character sooner that could maybe fire her situation up and force her to move forward, because I really think that's what I need to do with this character. I've called her Theo actually in the book, and I think, yes, I think I'm definitely, I need to shake it up a little bit, and I'm wallowing in that. I'm almost afraid to do that. But now you see, that's giving you a rough idea of what I mean, of what the tools that you can use to actually bring your imagination forward. Now I'm gonna work with this outside of this video later, so I don't think I'll need to make it a two-parter. But if you know anything about tarot at all, it's a great way. And as I said, I'm using this method more and more, and I'm finding it really good, as I've found tarot for myself to be a great tool. So yeah, that's actually really good, and I'm really pleased with that. I almost want to pull another one, but I'm not going to. I'm going to leave it for there. I definitely think that what I'm getting out of this is I could introduce this character to move her forward, to force her into seeing that everything that's here is just basically, she has overblown it completely. So I hope that's given you a little bit of help and an idea of what to do if you're stuck with a character. That's actually worked much better than I thought. I thought it was going to be a disaster, because I'm not an expert in tarot by no means, because as I said, I don't read for anyone. So I read for myself, and that's it. This deck is by Nicoletta Ceccoli. It's published by Los Scarabeo. And it's absolutely gorgeous, this deck. Just the artwork alone, it blows my mind. Now I know that a lot of people do find tarot weird. I respect that if you do. As I said, I just happen to be one of those people who, I've always used it, and I've always found it a very positive thing. I've never made much of a deal out of it, to be honest. I don't think I've even told people I know. This is just something I've always done. Not out of deliberately wanting to hide it or anything, but just because it's private. I just don't share it with people. But I just thought it would be, once I found this out from that YouTube video, and I'm sorry guys, I can't remember where it was from, I just thought, God, what a great idea. And I've gradually started to introduce it, and it's brilliant. So I hope it helps you guys, and I'm going to let you go, and if you've any questions, definitely drop me a line, and I'd be happy to answer them. So until next time, write your life out. Okay, bye.